Dunarmus Sportswear, sponsors of Drop the Puck.
We're back at the Den for another Laidler Conference battle between the number 2 Telford Tigers and the number 7 D-side Dragons. The Dragons looking to capitalise on that great result they had against the Senators. Of course, they come up against a team that haven't lost in 7 games, Ben. And Telford Tigers, a team who are synonymous with being at the top of the conference all the time, like their counterpart Modley team. I kind of expect the Dragons to be in for a real battle tonight.
I think the key point tonight for the Dragons is they're going to have to carry that momentum through from that Senators game and play this first period exactly like they played that third period on that other game. The key part here is the discipline. They're going to need to keep all the guys on the ice. You know, you've got a few of the old penalty monsters creeping in again there for the Dragons versus, I don't know, I mean, Telford have got their own. But at the same time, they tend to play a clean game and do most of the talking in the back of the net.
Well, you mentioned penalty monsters there, and of course, one of my favourite things, as you well know. But just going off the 2 teams alone, the top 3 penalty monsters, I mean, we know for a fact one of them is nice tonight. Well, 2 of them are nice tonight. But the Dragons have 243 off their top 3. And the Telford have got 238 off their top 3. So, discipline-wise, 2 teams that like to battle it out, so I kind of expect some fisticuffs in this one.
I don't know whether we're going to get fisticuffs, but I know it'll be physical, put it that way. And that's the way the Telford Tigers like to play. So that could play into the Dragons' hands. Saying that, though, because you've got key players missing, and you're quite right there, I think it's Chris Jones and Simon Furnival not icing tonight for the Dragons. That's upsetting those lines that have been working so well for Gary Shaw. So new lines we're going to see out there tonight. Are they going to be as fruitful? Well,
you mentioned Chris Jones there, of course. He's serving a 2-match ban, so he's sorely going to be missed on the ice tonight. Furnival's away, but, you know, it's a hobby, this sport, so, you know, people have to do other things. But the main thing is, key players like that, it could cost the side. They need all the players on the ice, and we know that Chris Jones likes to spend a lot of time in the penalty box, but against a team like Telford, who battle it out, who are at the top, you would kind of expect these players, the rest of the squad, to try and pull it up a notch after such a great game against the Senators.
Yeah, you're quite right, and you know they've got to keep an eye over the shoulder because one of the players on icing for Telford tonight is an ex-Dragon, and that's Philip Super. Now Super so far this season, 7 games he's only played for them, but he's already got 11 goals to his name and only 8 penalty minutes, so he's very disciplined. He doesn't get drawn into silly things. So they're going to have to play smart when Super's on the ice. Now, he's got a good support line with him as well, and he's always on their special teams unit as well, giving him plenty of opportunity to put that puck in the back of the net. And what's worrying me is, although he's an ex-Dragon, he knows how the defence play. Will the defence remember how he plays? Because he's also had time up at Telford 1 in their morally counterpart, as you quite rightly said before. And that experience is going to bode him well as he steps back down.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how they deal with the likes of Super. And the other key players for Telford tonight to watch is Callum Bowley. He's an old friend of ours here on Drop the Puck. Surely they've got to watch out for him.
Bowley, you know, player coach of the Tigers, played every game this season for them so far. I think maybe 1 he might have missed. But 27 goals, 41 assists. The guy's got 68 points to his name. That puts him top point scorer so far in the Laidler table. So they've got the number 1 scorer on their hands here. This is going to be a big ask for them.
Well, the Dragons' defence, you know, obviously going to be relying on the likes of Lovell and Wainwright for their vast experience. But who should we look out for on the Dragons' side?
Well, I think the first one goes unsung so far. He's a bit of an unsung hero. Chris Keaton, he's been playing really well on that line so far with Parsons. He's not always the scorer, though. He's more of a provider. He's gotten some key passes in. He's forcing the defence to make mistakes, and he's always trying to be second man to the puck. That's what you want in the line, mate.
Yeah. And also
Well, I'd say James Shaw.
I was kind of expecting him, yeah.
Well, Shaw at the moment has proven he's got what it takes to hang with the big boys. He can put a hit on. He likes to play physical, and he's very quick as well.
Yeah, he's got speed, and that's something that might be important tonight's game.
Well, yeah, because the way the Dragons play versus the way the Telford play, the Dragons always get caught usually on the high man, or they try and play the high puck themselves. Telford like to play up through the wings, and if that gets shut off early, we'll go down the throat, down the middle. That's what the Dragons are going to do, is force them out to the edge of the ring and let the defenders just pinch in and knock the puck out early.
Well, the interesting thing about tonight's game is that Telford have pretty much cemented their position in the playoffs, so they're going to certainly take one of the two, probably second place, at minimum third. So they're looking forward to post-season hockey, but D-side are playing for pride in this one, but they can have a say on who makes the playoffs.
Yeah, so that fourth spot at the moment still very much up for grabs between the Bulldogs and the Senators. And, as long as the results go their way, either one can pinch it. But, again, I think we worked it out earlier on. The Tigers could possibly be looking at a third place finish if the likes of D-side, Altrincham, Bradford all have a say in the matter. So this is certainly anybody's game still.
So, could you say, with that in mind and the playoffs, do you think the Telford Tigers may take the foot off the gas and have an easy ride, just relax a little bit, play lower key players, and maybe give the opportunity to the Dragons in this one?
You've got to look back at the previous result for the Tigers, and that was obviously a 6-2 victory over the Blackburn Hawks. Now, that's what, as we said quite rightly in the season already, most teams are racking up the score against the Hawks. 6-2, though, it bodes well for the Hawks, so they did a job there. Was it a little bit of complacency sneaking in, or was it Telford taking the foot off the gas, as you quite rightly said, heading in towards that playoff run? If they do it tonight, the Dragons will make them pay.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how this pans out. It's going to be an interesting one. I think it's going to be a feisty one. And with that, it's time to
drop the puck. The anthems are out of the way. The coaches' talks have been said, and the game plans are set. Gary, Dragons versus Tigers. It's a thing of legend.
Yeah, something out of a kung fu movie, I'd say. But I don't think we'll see no Poe tonight.
Oh. But I certainly think it's going to be a struggle for the Tigers visiting the Den here tonight. The Dragons on a little bit of form at the moment. That shock result against the Senators last outing put them that 5-4 overtime victory. Previously, as said in the introduction here, the Tigers' previous game, a 6-2 win over the Blackburn Hawks. It's going to take a lot tonight for the Dragons to keep that momentum with a playoff-bound Telford team.
Well, to be honest with you, Ben, it's in Telford's own hands now. They've basically assured themselves and cemented a place in the playoffs anyway. Something that they're used to. We said that in the intro. And they won't want to roll over and let a team like the Dragons take a win. They'll want to secure the points that they need in case you ever slip up.
So, we'll take a quick look at the starting netminders tonight. Between the pipes for D-side, we've got Dom Jolly. Jolly coming in with an 86.6% save average. On the opposite side will be Zach Brown. Brown starting tonight, 91% save average, so it's going to be a tough night for those Dragons forwards. As Mr. Hands gets ready to get us underway, and we drop the puck. Immediately, Dragons pushing Telford deep into their own zone, forcing Brown out of his net early. Chappell sets the benchmark for the game with a big hit, and immediately we go the other way with Smith. Smith looks for a counterpart, manages to feed that cross. In the middle, Washburn takes a shot, goes wide. When tied up on the boards, Dragons trying to play that out, do so in central ice. Couldn't be reeled in by Chappell, but it's knocked on once more. Washburn trying to chase his man down. Parsons far side. Off them half boards, kept in play, Dragons crucially, but only onto Telford stick once more, and Jones cleverly decides to dump that in, allowing his forwards a quick change.
Well, fast pace, and I think it's going to be pretty much this for all this first period, Ben.
As Price gets the puck off Keating, tries to play it out, tied up at the point with Wainwright, and they've managed to dump it in, and Bowley wasn't looking too impressed with that. He already knew the call, was skating back, Callum Bowley, one of the players we picked to watch, Gary. We've seen him now with the Tigers a few seasons here on Drop the Puck. We saw him at the playoffs last year. The guy knows his hockey.
Yeah, he's a formidable player on the ice. You've got to watch him, and he knows where that net is.
So we're going to get set deep within the Tiger zone. It's going to be a face-off to the left-hand side of Brown. Clancy steps up to the face-off circle. And it's draw in there for Telford as they try and clear it out quickly. Priest brings that puck round, can only find counterpart and Smith. Back to Price. Price to Washburn. Stretch pass over the far side. Washburn. Bowley was already heading the bench, so it's a handed opportunity out to the Dragons. In receipt of Austin. Austin finds Parry early. Shot. Sails wide. Picked up once more by Huswick. And knocked forward by Griffin. Foot race between Perks and Super. And Super beats his man out. Great turn. Keeps Telford in possession. Right across the danger zone. Shot comes in from number 13, Connor Gordon.
Yeah, turned away by Jolly.
And the official's arms up.
Oh,
That's in. Well, it looked like it was a call on the Dragons, so delayed penalty goal.
Well, the puck gets deflected away by Jolly. It goes to the left of him in that corner there. There's a bit of a scuffle with as they fight for the puck. It gets fed in, and it looks like...
I think it was Connor Gordon, Gary, with the finish.
Well, only our replay will be able to show that. Super was celebrating as well, and they managed to slot it between the posts and Jolly, and the Tigers take a 1-0 lead here tonight.
Mr. Hands gets action back underway, and immediately Thomason takes that down the other way. Oh, and it's Super, so Philip Super accredited with the goal.
Yeah, I thought it looked like he got it.
And that's going to be salt in the wound for the Dragons.
I think it's a case of play to the whistle though, Ben.
Very much so. Humphreys takes that over the line, body on from Gallagher. Spridgen gets over there. Great meet in the middle, but it's Spridgen comes off worse, and the puck now behind the Telford net as they play that out. Skating forward, trying to get something going. Hold that up. Push through to the middle there for Reed. It's going to be cleared out by Jones. Once more, the Telford defenseman just drawing out the Dragons, allowing that round the back play, as we discussed in the introduction. Favours the likes of Bowley. Great save there from Jolly. Gives him a bit of confidence back after that early sucker punch. And now, round the back looking for a backdoor opportunity is Smith. Smith lays off to Washburn. Gets that back. Smith once more. Drop pass. Set to Washburn, finds a man in the slot. Ooh, great save from Jolly there. And the Dragons caught completely off guard as we go the other way with Parsons. Parsons, three-man wall to beat, takes a shot.
Oh!
It's off Brown's shoulder. And as a netminder, Gary, that's all you've got to do is get in the way of that puck.
Well, he's big enough, he fills the space. He certainly got in the way there, but just prior to that, the Tigers are circling round and round. Constant flow of players coming towards that net, and Jolly's got to keep his head on a swivel tonight.
Very much so. A lot of prolific scorers for the Telford team as Brown just checking over his equipment.
Yeah, that puck come flying in at speed from James Parsons.
So face off to the right of Brown in the Tiger zone. Won by the Tigers, immediately played out there by Priest. Priest knocks it round to his defenseman. Perks, and we've seen it to miscommunication, passes like Griffin in, takes a shot, bounces out from Jolly. Super, picks up the clearance, once more shot in, great save by Jolly. Shot in from Price at the point, nobody sees it. Perks does well to dig it out, and that's going to be an icing call. And Gary, the Tigers showing the pressure they can bring onto Dom Jolly.
Yeah, they're certainly putting the Dragons defence under a lot of pressure early on. They're already 1 goal up. It's just over 4 minutes gone so far. You can see that they come here to do a job. They mean business, Ben.
Face off, won by Anderton for his Tigers team. Dragons now trying to be possessed and do so. Managed to get in there to breakaway pass for Parry. Parry gets round his man, Huswick. Brown comes right out of his net to deal with that. And it's kept alive by Parry once more. Puts it in for Gordon, who's just going to slow the pace down now, sit behind his own net and allow his team to get back and set a play up. Anderton can't quite get there. It's cut out by Shaw, who takes a big hit from Gordon.
Oh.
And it's gone through Parry. He's down on it.
Oh, he missed an opportunity there. I've only seen that puck behind him.
And that's just the play you saw there, Gary. Just then, Connor Gordon straight on James Shaw. It's like I said in the introduction, Shaw is one of those guys you've got to keep an eye on. But if he gets kept quiet by the Tigers tonight, not be able to get round the back and use his speed, he's not going to be pretty productive on that line. Gordon showing exactly what to do.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for all them Dragons tonight. They're going to have to pull something out of the bag, give it that extra A game.
As another draw win successful for Telford, looking to come out now. Played over to Washburn. Jones, make sure he gets there first. Humphreys knocks it on, but it's going to be picked up by the defenseman Reid for Telford once more. Trying to find a quick pass forward to Bowley, but they've gone the other way with Smith. Goes round Wainwright, but intercepted by Lovell. And notably, no Furnival and no Chris Jones for the Dragons tonight. Gary, could that be a big hindrance to them?
It can. I mean, they're two very, very useful and productive players, but of course their discipline lets them down a little bit. But in a game like this tonight, you need fighters.
Puck intercepted by Chaplin, dumped in, allowing a quick line change for the Dragons. They're going to have to be quick on the feet tonight as Barley puts a great pass across the centre. Smith drags it over, but then tries not to get called offside. We go back the other way with Parsons. Parsons, he's got Keating back door, looks to go alone. Tries to put it back in. I think the pass was there earlier, but Smith going to try and capitalise on the mistake. Austin does well to get down on his man, and Parsons forced behind his own net. There's going to be an icing call here from the pass from Parsons, and again, Gary, Dragons just a little bit panicky when they're pinned in their own zone, trying to clear that puck out for any reason, and they're getting caught now with easy icing calls.
Well, as quick as he's up leading an attack, James Parsons was just as quick back to defend there.
Crucial draw win for the Dragons in a face-off there in their own zone, as Austin's going to have Griffin bearing down on him, but he's managed to get round him. Chappell in the mix as well, on with Jordan Jolly of the Telford Tigers, but Andy Chappell now of the Dragons skates forward into the corner looking for support, finds it behind the net. Unable to retain that was Parsons, and now Telford are back in possession. Tried to put the body on, his man goes round him. Perks keeps the play alive. Parsons once more forced to dig it out. Perks. And Shaw back on the ice now. Can he do something with this shift? As we've got a call. Is that going to be too many on the ice for the Dragons?
You can see on the Dragons bench there, getting a little bit heated. There's Matthew Compton's shouting to his players. A little bit of confusion. And with that, James Parsons heads to the penalty box for the first of the Dragons penalties tonight.
So, face off to the left of Jolly in the Dragon zone, puts Telford Tigers on their first power play of the night. As Shaw shows what he's got, skates down. Bowley leading this power play. And Shaw just circles out in front. Bowley feeds super far side, who decides to knock that on. Wainwright makes sure he gets straight down there though as Griffin comes in on him. Tries to clear it out. Bowley's kept it alive at the point. Shaw puts the body on. Puck's already gone. Shot in.
Oh, what
Great
a
save
shot
from Jolly. And the shot coming in there looked like Smith.
Yeah, it was.
And the puck all the way back down to Brown. 1:17 remaining in the power play now.
Did I say it, Ben? There is. It almost looks like there's more than 5 players on the ice for the Tigers at times. They're everywhere.
They are the well-organised, well-drilled team, Telford. The shot comes in.
Oh!
Once more, trying to strike like a viper. And this special teams unit now really working the Dragons penalty kill unit. Smith once more at the blue. Decides to lay it off to Bowley. Backdoor shot. Ooh. And what a save, Dom Jolly. Reactions of a grasshopper.
A grasshopper. It's got the arms of a praying mantis, more like it. He plucked that out of the air really, really well. That was a powerful shot, and it seems to be all of the Tigers players can fire them pucks in. Jolly's got to be careful tonight.
So, face off once more. Is won by the Dragons as they drive that out the zone. 40 seconds remaining in the power play. Kept alive very much so there by Clancy, but intercepted now by Telford. Jordan Jolly feeds that over. Far side to Huswick, takes a shot and it's straight into the chest of Jolly there. Well, the biggest thing the Dragons are going to have to worry about tonight, especially Dom Jolly, the amount of shooters that are good on target from Telford.
Yeah, and at distance as well. If those pucks are flying in at distance, you've got to be aware where they are.
Great draw in there for the Dragons once more as Austin gets a stick on that. Clears that down into the corner, forces Brown out of his net. Great forecheck from Parry, quick dump off to Anderton. Lays that off once more to Price. Price looks to skate over, takes it in the zone himself. Great poke check there from the Dragons. Allows them back in with 10 seconds remaining on the power play. You can see Zach Brown there barking the orders as he commands Washburn into the corner. Quick feed out for Anderton once more. Anderton looks to go down middle ice.
Parsons returns to the ice.
Yeah, and we're back to 5 skaters apiece as the trapdoor opens. And Lovell gets caught in his own zone. We can't do this tonight. The gift opportunities for the Tigers if they do so, but it's going to be Jolly. Tries to find a slot shot.
Oh, what a save.
And he gets a little nudge for it there, does Reed. Into the corner once more, trying to dig it out.
Oh, and we've got the penalty.
Another delay penalty, the Dragons don't want to get caught. Touched up, and it's going to go on the Dragons.
Oh. And Austin. Looks like Austin's going to the penalty box. No sooner do they go back to full strength, the Dragons pop one back, but it looks like, yeah, definitely just Austin.
Charging. So it's a charging call on Gav Austin. And that's going to put him in the box for 2 minutes. So, straight back on the power play go Telford. Bowley takes a shot.
Oh, well saved.
Smith again giving all that time at the blue line.
Yeah.
And this is what the Dragons have got to be careful of, Gary.
Well, I hope the padding on Dom Jolly's chest is thick because them pucks are flying in at speed, and I wouldn't like to be on the receiving end of one of them.
Certainly not as we go back to the face-off circle with Mr. Hands. Tigers, crucial face-off win, and now Super finds Bowley at the point. Bowley looking for that pass, tries to lay it back off to Super. Great stick in the way there from Parsons. Chappell unable to disrupt play. Again into the middle. Looking for that crucial shot, looking for the back door tap, and it's in.
And Super again was in the right spot at the right time. They circled that puck around with ease, looking for the opportunity, and the puck comes just to the right of Dom Jolly, sails straight across the front, and Super's there just to knock it in for his second goal this evening, and the second for the Tigers. It's now Dragons 0, Tigers 2.
Well, Super certainly out to prove a point tonight. He's been up to Morley Conference. He's played with the Tigers 1 team and gained some crucial experience there. And he certainly brought it back and making it count. Assist coming from Bowley as well.
Well, he's an old friend of the show, is Philip Super, so...
And Shaw gifted the puck, goes in, takes the shot, tries to 5-hole Brown, but he's wise to that. And now Parry tries to put the puck round, body laid on by Huswick. And Josh Huswick's able to dig that out, and here we go.
Just loses sight of it a little bit there.
Out in front of the Dragons bench. And Telford, certainly the more physical team tonight. I'd expect it from the side, but certainly Telford out to prove a point. There's Gordon, one of the many named penalty monsters in the introduction.
Oh, yeah.
Force back once more. It's allowed. Quick line change here for Telford as Thomason knocks that forward for Anderson. Brandon Anderson tries to go
well
wing
picked
pass,
out.
but Parry's been able to get that, and here comes Parsons, lays it off at Chappell. Chappell takes a shot. Bounce back out. Nobody's there for the rebound.
Yeah, Chappell got the rebound there, but it's got taken off him.
Keating holds it up, allows his team to create some space. Chappell and Parsons, miscommunication. Chappell trying to beat his man out to that, it's Price.
He's getting muscled out there a little bit.
Wainwright tries to step up.
Oh, nice move by Matthew Wainwright there.
Great pinch in there, it's allowed D-side possession once more. Parsons tries to backstick it across the crease. And now Telford finally gain possession and drive that out their own zone.
And Smith's off again.
Smith and Keating. Smith takes it inside, looks to backhand.
Oh, it's in!
It's in!
And what a play, Smith. As calm as you like.
James Smith with that goal.
Steals the puck, skates down the left-hand side of the ice, heads towards Jolly, curves right across the front of him, almost touching the netminder, and then, calm as you like, slots it right past him. And it's now Dragons 0, Tigers 3.
Well, we knew this was going to be a difficult game for the Dragons, Gary. None of that momentum seems to have carried through from the Senators game. And dare I say, I was going to mention second period syndrome. It seems like the Dragons haven't even got out the first.
Well, I think they've been a little bit shocked by that very quick goal. I honestly thought the Dragons might have put up more of a fight in this first period, but it's early days yet though, Ben.
Washburn takes that into the corner, finds Bowley in the middle. Bowley's got Smith once more. Price at the high point, back to Washburn in the corner. Played off for Smith. Smith decides to go in alone round Perks. Again, looks to take the shot, forces Jolly down, tries to backdoor him. It's found to Washburn, shot, and great save from Jolly. And once again, second to the puck of the Tigers, allowing them to break out quickly. Spridgen can't get round his man. Tie up there with Smith.
Two Dragons getting turned around there.
And now Bowley of the Tigers. Big pass straight down the gut of the Dragons. But luckily it's picked up by Austin. Austin finds Humphries wide open on the wing. Can't control it. Played back to Smith. Dragons getting caught short on the change there almost. And now Shaw tries to get his legs going. Opens up, gets around Washburn, getting held up a little bit there. He's got Harrison to beat. Backdoor. No one there, and that was great play from Shaw. Yeah. The support was lacking. And now you can see the difference as a relaxed looking Telford just taking the time to set something up. Reed near side. Parry tries to shadow his man. Into the middle once more. Super tries to go for his hat trick. Jolly seals the post out. And we're back again with Jolly of the Tigers. Wainwright, crucial stick down on the ice there. And once again into the corner. Wainwright tries to get round Reed, does so. Clancy puts that puck across the low slot, and there's no Dragon chasing it in, so it's allowed. Back down the other way. Jordan Jolly take the shot. And no sooner are the Dragons clearing the zone out, Telford is straight back down the throat and they're pinning them in their own zone. Crucial stick turnaround there from Parsons. Buys the Dragons a little bit of breathing space as Super. Decides to lay that off to Harrison. Harrison looks up, takes it on himself, puts it on net, and Jolly's just going to keep hold of that and freeze play. Well, Gary, I spoke to Don Jolly pre-game, and his biggest concern was that Telford were just going to keep the Dragons pinned in their own third, and that seems to be what's happening.
Yeah, and it's not, I mean, don't get me wrong, the Dragons are getting a little bit of ice time, and they're trying to hurry it and get down the ice and do something with it, but the problem is Telford are dictating how this game pace is going at the moment.
Face-off win for D-side there to Perks, rings it round for Parsons, tries to find Chappell in the middle. Hustwick's at first man there. Thomason, bodied off the puck by Chappell, who dumps that straight back in. And Keating applying the forecheck. 2 Dragons committed though. Could be costly. Chappell picks up the loose puck. Into the corner once more. Great play from Telford. Austin reads it well. Doesn't let Gallagher in. And Parsons takes a hit for the Troubles. Thomason once more tries to feed his man. Austin steps up. And the game physicality just stepping up slightly. As Jolly's going to freeze that out. And Anderson goes down. Well, was that something afterwards there with Perks? Perks skating back to his bench.
Yeah, the official just making sure he goes back. There was no further action after that.
Well, tensions are a-bubbling. There we see some lead gloves. As face-off to the right of Jolly between Lovell and Bowley is won by Telford. Bowley tries to chase the loose puck there. Ryan Jones beats him out. Uses the boards, clears it round to Wainwright. Smith steps up. Support straight in from Washburn allows Telford back in an offensive play.
Oh!
And he's taken out the play there. Is Smith, he's pleading for a trip. Not been given, and that's going to be up and out of play off the stick of Lovell. Dragons can take a breath.
Well, I think we can all take a breath at the moment because it's been non-stop from Telford, applying constant pressure with just over 16 minutes gone in this period. They've got a 3-0 lead, they must be happy with that.
Bowley with the draw win once more for this Tigers team, as still in possession, goes to take another shot. Oh. Wainwright gets his stick on it and clears it out, and straight back in once more by Priest. Tigers offside to have to retreat. Put on for Parry, dumping chase, but Price is going to get there first. And that was a wasted opportunity once more. The Tigers trying to play dump and chase hockey, but I just don't think they've got the legs to get around this defence.
No, they're struggling a little bit. It's the pace and speed of these Tigers. They're pouncing on every puck.
As draw win there, feed Super straight out to the blue for that shot once more. Played in, that time it was from Harrison. And now, quick break by the Dragons with Shaw. James Shaw of the Dragons rides that hit. Still round the back of the net. Is he going to cut in? No. Goes, turns, looks for the backup. Clancy spins in from Keating. Can't get it away. And it's committed 4 Tigers to that one attack.
Oh,
but we're going to get a call. That's a check in the back.
Yeah, Harrison.
So cross-checking from Harrison allows the Dragons the first power play opportunity of the night.
He doesn't look happy with himself there. But nevertheless, the Dragons have got to take the opportunity that's been gifted to them so far.
Face-off will be to the right of Brown. Won by the Dragons is 16:53 showing the clock. Gone of this first period. Desperately going to want to get something to go into that first period break with as Austin put that puck in. It was deflected. And Wainwright picks up the rebound. Lovell now looking for the back door. Parsons was coming in, but it's broken out with Super. Super, he's got Smith in support and Jolly. They're able to clear it out and back down the other end. Wainwright, big pass over for Parsons, gets his legs going to get there first. Does so, gets round Hustwick. He's lost his stick for the Troubles and decides to kick it out to his man at the point. Well, Hustwick just easily, oh, it's brought down for Lovell, rebound for Jolly. tries to go in, he's just going to skate straight behind the Dragons' net, chew some of that clock up. 1-7 now remains in the power play opportunity. Parry for the Dragons into the corner, finds Jones. Jones takes a shot straight down Brown's throat, and he had plenty of time to see that.
Yeah, as that shot coming from Ryan Jones, Lovell just takes the opportunity just to cut across the face of goal in front of the netminder, but unlucky, doesn't get the deflection in, and it still remains Dragons 0, Tigers 3.
17:54 in this first period gone. We're going to get ourselves a face-off to the left-hand side of Zach Brown in the Tiger zone. Parry knocks that straight, Clancy into the corner for Parry. Tigers get there first, try and clear it out. Austin keeps the play alive. Miss by Price allows Perks as that box formation now set up by Telford. Find Austin, trying to mimic the Telford attack, and it's deflected. It's going to be one of the Tigers bearing down. Goes one-on-one with Jolly. Great save. Oh no, it's in. It's actually gone in and out. It's Smith again. James Smith with his second of the night. Well, a blink, Gary. That's what happened.
It looked like, from where we are in the position, in the commentary position, it looked like Jolly had managed to save that, and it came out the other side, but it looked like it was coming outwards of the goal. So our replay will show that it's obviously gone in, bounced back out, and the Tigers extend their lead here tonight at D-side. It's now Dragons 0, Tigers 4.
And Telford proving they don't need all the men on the ice to score. Short-handed goal as Wainwright puts that right across the paint for a tap in, and there was no Dragon there. Once more, they're going round the net. Parsons decides to find a man in the corner. Keating tries to play the quick pass off, but stick from Gordon disrupts the play. Once more, 2-1, back to full strength. And that's a very disappointing power play for the Dragons.
Well, 4 goals down in this first period, just under a minute remaining.
As Harrison break away with the puck into the corner.
And you've got to wonder, what can the Dragons do to try and get something back in this game?
Again against the board. Tie open, it's popped out. Neutral ice. Keating picks it up. Immediately surrounded by 4 Telford players, Gary.
Yeah.
Dragons not given an inch to move. And we've got ourselves another face-off call. But just looking back there, Chris Keating picks the puck up neutral ice, skates over the blue, and immediately has 2 Tigers behind him, 2 in front of him. The Dragons just can't do anything at the moment.
Yeah, they're struggling to put anything constructed together. It seems to be ad hoc attacks.
As Perks put that in for Spridgeon to try and tap in. And we're late into the final 30 seconds now of this first period. Desperately trying to claw a consolation goal of the Dragons, but Tigers, and with Washburn forcing Austin backwards to Lovell as they go D to D. Austin decides to put one straight on the net of Brown as any second now. There's a buzzer. Well, a little bit of a lacklustre performance from the Dragons in the first period. Gary Shaw needs to get them by the scruff of the neck and turn them around, maybe impart some wisdom on them. Tigers looking very relaxed, here to do a job, sticking to that game plan.
Yeah, it looks like a very tough uphill battle for the Dragons going into that locker room. I'm sure Master Gary Shaw will give his words of wisdom and try and get them together, rally them up and get these Dragons fired up. But certainly Telford just got to continue what they're doing best and keeping the goals in the back of the Dragons' net. With that, we'll let the teams go in and get a breather. We'll get a breather. Join us after this short break.
Dunarmus Sportswear, sponsors of Drop the Puck.
So teams are back out for this second period. Which team's gonna suffer the fatal second period syndrome.
Well, I doubt highly if it's going to be Telford.
As Mr. Hands gets the action back underway. Telford carrying through that 4-goal lead. And immediately, Dragons trying to put the pressure on, but here come Telford once more with Bowley. Plays that forward. Gets that back in the slot, Jones. And Brown looking very relaxed as Parsons starts to come down on him. Gets inside, takes a shot. Oh. Great leg pad save by Brown. Early opportunity for the Dragons, still some glimmer of hope yet.
And that's what they need to do, Ben. They need to get on the score sheet quick.
Keating tried to find Dragons player far side. Shot went wide. Now Telford allowed back in once more. Quick stretch pass finds Bowley. Bowley takes a shot. Jolly gets his mitt to it. Puts it in the corner for Washburn to turn that back round. It's going to be intercepted though by Ryan Jones of the Dragons. Jones finds Wainwright. Pushes that forward for Keating. Keating gets his head up. Decides to use the boards and dump that in. Picked up by Austin behind. Tries to go front early. Second shot in.
And it's well covered up there. Zach Brown dropping down on that.
Interesting opportunity early seen by the Dragons there. Using the boards to their advantage.
Yeah, the different attitude on the Dragons coming out in this second period. Looking a little bit more like the Dragons we expect. But a long way to go yet.
Face-off is won by D-side as Parry turns that back in into the corner. Looks for the payback. Can't get it, and it's a breakaway for Super. Super tries to go around his man. Great hold-up play there from the defensive man at Perks.
Oh, well played defence.
And now Clancy, 2 Tigers in front of him, decides to go alone. Brown sees that.
Well, if you just look back on our replay there, as the Telford Tigers were pounding down on the Dragons' net, and the defence managed to stop Super as he feeds it back, and then twice we get Super struggling to get anything out of that.
So face-off resumes play immediately. Telford win, but it's intercepted. The point by Shaw. Puts that across the slot. Backdoor opportunity.
Oh, he's missed that.
Too long on the puck from Parry there. Allows Telford in once more to try and clear it. It's only got as far as Shaw. Shaw gains the half boards. Brought down by Huswick. Griffin backhands that clear. Jolly's going to get out of his net. Decides to play that out to Austin. Austin couldn't control it. Back into Griffin.
Oh, what a save.
Jolly take a bow. Well, left stranded in no man's land, manages to put a dive in. Peter Schmeichel to be proud of. And now the Dragons led off. Early warning signs though, the Telford still coming at them. 2:38 gone in the second period.
Well, in that replay there, you can see Jolly sliding across his own goal there as the Tigers saw an opportunity of an open net, and he saves it for them.
Great body put on by Ryan Jones out in front of his own bench there, but it's Gallagher bearing down, looks for the backdoor opportunity. They're aware of it this time. Positioned on that post is Matt Wainwright of the Dragons, who uses his stick to turn that away. And now the Dragons looking to play it out with Spridgen, does well to keep that. Pushes it forward for Humphreys, and very quick play from these Telford Tigers. It's tape-to-tape stuff as the puck zips around the ice.
Yeah, a lot of dummy plays as well.
Spridgen couldn't quite get in there. It's fallen to Anderson. Anderson, Gallagher in the slot, puts it wide. And now all the Dragons players seem to be a little bit more switched on and aware of where these Telford players are, as Lovell looks to find Spridgen. Spridgen pushes that over for Humphreys. Humphreys, well, Anderson went in to check him, ends up hitting the boards, and the officials are straight over there. Well, it's an interesting one, that. Great read by Humphreys of Anderson coming in on him.
Yeah, the Dragons player on the left-hand side of the ice realised he was going to be offside, turns to get back, but at the same time, Tigers tried to hip check.
Humphreys, yeah, great read, but face off in the neutral zone, pushed in by the Dragons. It's going to be picked up once more there by Liam Priest. Priest Plenty of time to play that out against half board. Chappell gets over there in front of his own bench. Digs that away from Price. Big clearance up and down. It's going to be Perks there. Perks has Bowley in pursuit. Gets his stick on it and it falls to Chappell, who decides to come back. Finds Parsons in the neutral. Great backhand pass for Keating. Keating once more. Parsons tries to go inside Chappell. Great puck opportunity, but it's cleared and left the Dragons high and dry. Bowley tried a bit of stick work there to Smith, but he's caught for his chance, and that's going to be an offside.
Yeah, he tries to pass the puck, but his colleague was offside, and the official quick to pick up on that. But again, Ben, these Tigers quick to return on the counter-attack.
Very much so. Bowley and Clancy going for the face-off, but the official not happy with that there, so Mr. Rees looks to set that again. As Bowley knocks that forward for Washburn, but immediately the Dragons with Shaw bearing down him. It's popped out to Parry. Parry looks to go around his man. Shaw was in support, but Washburn's there. He's held it up well. And safely behind the net of Telford. So Tigers once more with 4:36 gone on this clock. Play that forward. Washburn looks to cut inside. Finds Smith.
Oh, well deflected up.
And that was Perks with the key deflection there. Just shut his legs and off the shin pads.
There's something I've noticed again, Ben, in the second period, and we noticed it in the last game with the Dragons. They've got 2 or 3 players, almost 4 players at any time, in the same area, and it frees up all the open ice for the likes of the Tigers players. Anybody who's loose has got free run onto that net.
They really need to try and commit so many players and just calm down a little bit and get a control back into this game, because right now they are, as you say, giving the Tigers plenty of opportunities, and you can't do that. The likes of Super and Bowley will exploit them. As with Super once more as he drives that into the corner.
Oh, well done, Matt Wainwright.
Yeah, right across the crease there for Wainwright to get in there. As Gordon being chased down by Spridgin. Super, body on from Jones. Wainwright does well to just take the Tigers out that play. Knocks that forward for Spridgin. Spridgin chasing that down. Brown's out of his net. Spridgin had to be careful there. Gordon, little shove for his troubles. There's going to be a call. Okay, looks like it's on Gordon. I think that might be a late hit or an interference call. We'll await the official decision now. See what Mr. Hans has to say, but non-surprisingly, Connor Gordon heading to the box.
Yeah, one of my penalty monsters, Ben.
Very much so.
So he adds to his tally for the season, but in the wrong one. And the Dragons now been handed an opportunity of a power play. Let's see if they can do anything with it.
So, power play early on in the second period for the Dragons. And it's a roughing call assessed to Gordon. So Connor Gordon, 2 minutes for roughing, puts the Dragons special team out on the ice. Immediately Harrison gets his stick on that puck and puts it down into the Dragon zone. Great forecheck pressure coming from Smith. Tigers again trying to cause a short-handed opportunity, but here's Wainwright for the Dragons. Skates it through no man's land. Decides to go in himself.
Oh,
Harrison
lucky.
back there with a key poke check. And now Jolly in receipt of the puck. Gary, we know the Dragons have got a decent power play unit when they decide to play, but the communication just doesn't look like it's quite there at the moment.
Yeah, a little bit at 6s and 7s, but it's, if they can just settle down, I mean, like they did in that first few minutes of this period, and you can see this. Oh, here we go.
And it's a breakaway opportunity. Backhand for Smith. Denied once more.
Yeah, as I was just about to say, they're showing glimpses of promise and the form that we've seen them in that last game against the Senators.
And mistakes, hand in advantage left and right here, as Smith once more in possession. Finds Harrison. Straight. Oh, Jolly hasn't got hold of it. But they've blown it dead anyway.
And Smith's on the floor. Looks like he's hurt himself. He's holding his head there, but I'm sure I don't think he got hit in the head, but he's certainly feeling it a little bit there. His fellow players going over. Harrison
Well, Austin's heading to the box. So we're going to get a call here that's possibly going to give us some 4-on-4 action.
Yeah, well, while one of the staff for the Telford Tigers goes over, checks on Smith, has a quick look at him. May have got a stick to the face, but it's difficult to tell. Obviously our replay might show it a little bit, but...
Well, he's back to his feet, that's a good sign. James Smith, 2 goals to his name tonight already. He's been a problem for the Dragons.
Yeah, he certainly has. He's been everywhere at the moment, and if we were to end the match right now, I'd certainly, you'd be looking at man of the match for me.
Most certainly, you know, he's been playing that forecheck heavy, and causing the Dragons to cough the puck up, and he certainly has been one of those second men to the puck every time. You see him there assisted back to his bench by his coach, and he'll be assessed.
Well, Mr. Hands is talking to Parsons there, and I think he was saying it's something to the, looks like he's saying signalling to the face. But nevertheless, penalty's been called. Austin's in the penalty box, and the Dragons are now down a man. Oh. Right, okay, it looks like we're getting an additional.
So as Humphrey skates to the box, we're going to get a 10-minute here. So there's a 2+10 coming. I've got a feeling it may be checked to the head from on Austin. We'll await the official confirmation. As we can see here, Mr. Hands just making sure that everyone's set up on the right face-off circle.
I think Jolly was just saying, did you see me just slide across that goal before, sir?
Yes, Don, we did. So face-off to the left of Jolly. Immediately won by the Dragons as we're 4-on-4.
And the hands up already.
And it is checked to the head on Austin.
26 minutes 44 seconds.
So Austin handing or neutralising the advantage, and a snap stick there, return to the bench. It's a souvenir for a fan. As we get ourselves a face-off once more, left of Jolly in the Dragon zone. Oh, official just checking Wainwright's blade.
I think it's sharp. He sharpened it before I saw it.
And immediately won by Telford. As ice opens up crucially that little bit more now. Price tries to find Bowley.
Oh,
There's the teddy bear of Jolly that we know so well.
yep.
And I can see the puck from here. Not a pretty sight, but it's definitely not in the net.
Yes. That's all I'm going to say.
I was lucky enough to speak, as I mentioned before, with Dom pre-game, and we were laughing and joking about his goaltending style at the moment.
Yeah, his style, is that what he calls it?
Yeah, well, that's what we'll go with on air anyway.
Okay, right.
As we look to go the other way once more, it's Super dangerously in the corner. Great cut-out play there from Ryan Jones, but now Dragons having to weather another bout of onslaught from this very well-drilled Telford squad. Back on the ice comes Gordon, so it's power play advantage Telford. Parry ties up with Washburn on the boards. Price and Chappell both over there. Officials still in view of that puck. Once more, should we ruck against the boards? And it's come out in advantage of the Welsh, as you'd expect. Plays it round the boards. All the way down for Bowley.
You were commentating on the wrong game there, Ben.
Quickly taken up by Bowley. Little head on for Price. Price does well to take inside Bowley. He's got Shaw all over him. Super at the point. Decides to feed that back in for Bowley once more.
You can see Super was looking there, and again.
And he's got support over the far side. I was expecting a one-time shot there from Gallagher. It's come back. Swing and a miss from Shaw. But it's allowed Parry to get in there, and Parry clears that down with 5 seconds left on the clock before Humphreys returns to the ice. 2-1. We're back to 5-on-5.
Well, nobody gained any advantage in any of those power plays there.
Very broken, very unrhythm. Nobody establishing themselves, and so far the Dragons doing well to weather any attack that Telford are putting on them. Gordon back on the ice. Feeds Anderson. Anderson cut out by Parsons as he turns back, looks for support. He's got Lovell at the point. Decides to have a go himself.
Oh.
Pops out for Washburn. Washburn, it's a 3-on-2 odd man rush. Great stick work by Perks. Denies that pass lane. And that's gone near post for Jolly to seal up. Well, there, Gary, we saw a classic example. Dragons getting caught short, the odd man rush. They've got to be careful of that.
Yep.
Face off. One by Griffin there, and it's straight to the glove of Jolly. Telford establishing the playbook well tonight.
The thing is, the Dragons have got to try and play their game and not let Telford dictate how the pace of this game goes.
As they get that face-off win, Parsons skates it in, lays that off for Keating, decides to take the shot. It's popped down in front of Brown, but there's no Dragon for the rebound. And Lovell keeps the play alive at the point, puts it back into the corner once more. Finds Lovell at the blue, has to use the boards. Bang pass goes awry, Anderton jumps in, finds Griffin far side, Perks is over there. Dispossesses Anderton, Perks pays for the price with a body though. Chopping and fighting away, and it's a great breakout pass. Keaton's found Parsons, he's got one man to beat. Great defensive work by Harrison. Still in possession, goes to go backhand. Lovell into the corner, keeping the Dragons play alive. Can they make something of all this effort as Ryan Jones puts that back in once more? Dragon on the far side, look like Lovell couldn't get a stick down in time, and it's come all the way around now. Oh, shot in there from Griffin. Well, Jolly reacted quick. Both teams going for a quick change. Found the high man with Shaw. Feeds that back for Clancy. And Parry. Wainwright, unfortunately, can't keep it in. Decides to dump it into the opposite corner where it's going to be picked up there by Priest.
Well, the Dragons starting to put a little bit of pressure on our Telford net and ask some questions, but I think Telford have got all the answers at the moment.
Very much so. And one of the big things, Gary, I think that's really affecting the Dragons at the moment, we're seeing different lines playing together each week. There's no consistency, but when there is, as Dragons can bear down on the net once more with Parry. Force Brown to stand up. Shaw's put on his backside out in front there. Once more. And the official there just saying it's a net battle, mate. You've got to roll in, roll out. But yeah, when we saw consistency, you know, that front line of Furnival, Keating and Parsons last week, we saw productive things. As Wainwright decides to go in, go backhand. Pokes in, it's tied up there, but Brown sealed that right out.
Well, nice play by Matt Wainwright there as he weaves his way past a couple of defenders, tries to feed it in. Parsons, was it Parsons was there or Parry, trying to get a little tap in, unsuccessful, and the Dragons' chance goes by. Still hit Dragons 0, Tigers 4 here, midway through this second period.
Dragons win that face-off, but Tigers are going to try and break out with that and the speed of them.
Oh, super.
Great poke check by Perks. And Billy Perks having an absolute blinder in defence at the moment for the Dragons.
Yeah, he's a good little player. Got a long career ahead of him, I think.
As he puts that back in once more, all the Dragons offside though, so forced to retreat out the zone. As bit of D2D play from Telford, trying to create that space. Lovell sticks with Griffin. Gordon finds the overlap, takes the shot.
He's broke his stick.
And he paid. Oh, that was dangerous.
And it just goes to show, Ben, the power that they're putting into these shots.
And it's been blown dead. Well, Gordon just lashed the shaft of his stick away. Barely misses Mr. Hands there.
Lucky for him, I think.
Very much so.
Could have somebody eye out with that.
So face off, Dragon zone to the left of Jolly. Face off win by Bowley. Leaves Smith with the puck. Takes the shot and Jolly sees it and turns it away. Perks in once more. Pays the price as Smith puts his body on. Now tied up is Bowley and Lovell. Allows Perks to come out with the puck. Great pass on right onto the money for Parsons, who looked to goes inside, but Harrison's got the read of him.
And he's picked it up. Oh, and they're both down.
And now tying up once more. Dragons tried to play that out in front, but Tigers have intercepted it and they look to break. Odd man rush once more, 3-on-2. Washburn puts it back across the middle. Jolly gets his stick in the way.
Smith is waiting for his third.
And now Lovell for the Dragons. Again trying to find those high passes. And it's Parsons that's sitting on that blue line. Shaw making sure that everyone was on side before he even attempted to play the puck. It's come to Clancy. Clancy backhands it.
Oh!
Shaw puts it back in once more. Brown.
There's no power in the shots.
Wainwright gets over there, keeps the play alive, but it's opened up. And Jones got plenty of time, even though he's outnumbered. So back in once more. Parry, Clancy. Shaw. Puck pops up. Down in front of the plexi by the Dragons bench. As they chip and chop away for it.
Looked like they were giving the ref a hug there.
And they're going back the other way. Super, denied by Wainwright.
Wainwright's having a good game in defence here tonight.
And we've mentioned him before, Gary, but Matt Wainwright is a bastion of knowledge, and he's certainly been a crucial part of this Dragons defensive unit this season. As Shaw puts it back.
Oh!
Clancy with the shot.
Oh,
follow up. Well,
two bites of the cherry there and nothing to show for it.
As Griffin applying the pressure onto Jones. Jones just turns back. Doesn't like what he sees. Oh, fans on the pass. Pucks popped loose. Great interception there by Chappell. And Chappell using his size to his advantage. Muscles super off the puck. Feeds Parry down the wing. Parry round the back of the net, looks to go out in front.
Oh.
Brown gets his stick in the way. He's down there. And Parsons was having a poke at that, and he shot 3 Tigers around him, so he'd advanced for something.
Yeah, it's a nice little attempt there by Parry. Quickly feeds it backhander there and round the back of the post, but unsuccessful. It's still Dragons 0, Tigers 4.
I'm thinking of a word, Gary. Complacency.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else then.
Could the Dragons be finding a bit of advantage on the puck and trying to get a foothold back in this game because the Tigers are becoming a little bit too complacent?
Complacent.
That's the word.
Complacency is one of it's a devil's tool in the wrong hands.
Oh, Jolly there. Had to get his stick down. But do the Tigers think that the damage is already done early in this game and they can just sit back and absorb the pressure the Dragons are putting on?
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, they've not come short bench, that's for sure. Oh. But there we go.
Trying to find that breakout pass once more, and this time it's Lovell that's over there. Jolly seals that puck up. Oh, and Anderson just pointing there to... Is that Perks there? Yeah, his words were exchanged.
Yeah, Perks is a little bit of a thorn in the side for them at the moment, but certainly Tigers haven't come short bench tonight. They've certainly come with a game plan, they're sticking to it, leading 4-0, but the Dragons are always having a good second period. They had a good one against the Senators last week. Same again tonight, they're looking stronger. And so far, 5 minutes remaining, less than 5 minutes remaining, and there's no goals been scored.
Spridgen chasing that down. And it's back the other way with Washburn. Washburn, Smith and support. finds Smith. Lovell does well to hold him up. Bowley, as the Dragons fans trying to act as the sixth man for them.
Got to be alert there because they're quick to pounce on you.
Hook dumped forward by Spridgeon. Parry unable to chase that down as Anderson gets there first. Uses defenseman. Knocked on for Bowley. Bowley goes through his man, but it's allowed the Dragons in as they've got an opportunity. Spridgeon puts it back. Clancy, can he get onto that? He has done. Turns straight back into a defender though, and body on. There's going to be a call here, and that's elbow in. Oh no, knee in. Sorry, you can see it there indicated. So that's Perks going to box for kneeing.
Well, it was getting a little bit lively for Perks before. This time, officials made it quite clear that's not allowed. In you go to the box, and he's going to spend 2 minutes watching his teammates soak up a bit of pressure.
So the penalty kill unit now out on the ice for the Dragons. That dominant special forces team, or special
forces.
Yeah, that's what it seems like, because they're striking with such deadly precision at the moment. And it's fallen to Huswick. Can Telford make the Dragons pay once more? Looking for that backdoor opportunity, and you could see Jolly of the Tigers there was disappointed he didn't get that off quicker.
There's too many jollies on the ice, that's what it is.
Washburn plays that into the corner. You can hear the Telford fans in full voice. Good travelling contingency with them tonight. Washburn once more. And that's Jones and Jolly involved in the net battle, as it's chipped up for Huswick. Second bite of the cherry and it's fallen away, and now Chappell's able to get a stick on it. Tried to find Parsons on the breakaway, but Huswick intercepts it. Dragons, great play there by Parsons. 55 seconds remain on this power play. Bowley takes a shot through traffic. And the thud you can hear is it hitting the board behind the net. One of the Telford players pays for the attempt of trying to put the body on. And Smith feigns the shot, goes inside, finds Bowley back there. Well, that was well played there between Smith and Bowley.
Yeah, Smith draws the defenders across the face of goal, feeds the puck back across, and Bowley's just sitting there waiting for that puck, slams it home, and it gives the Tigers another goal here tonight. It's now Dragons 0, Tigers 5.
So you've got to wonder, Gary, what more can the Dragons do to get back into this game besides score 4 goals? Or 5 goals even, sorry.
Well, they keep up the pressure that they've been putting on that Tigers net. And the official getting in the way.
Jolly sees that late and gets down on that.
Yeah, the Dragons can keep up the pressure that they've been putting on the net.
And there's a little bit of afters there. Jolly not happy with something. You see him shouting the odds. So Dom Jolly's not happy. Well, we saw Jolly have an outburst in the previous game that cost his team 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Back in once more.
That was the Aces game, wasn't it, where he lost his...
It's put forward. Brown out of his net. Played forward for Telford, and the game pace stepped up a little bit. Dragons in the Telford zone. Puck on there, and Brown seals that out. So great opportunity for the Dragons. Leaves them going a wondering, asking questions. But the fans are certainly now getting involved. And Brown being spoken to there by Mr. Hands. Jolly still seething in his net. Questions to be answered there. There's a face-off in the Telford zone. It's going to be picked up by Tigers. and played out. Perks clears that puck all the way down the ice. And there's ourselves an icing call.
Well, I must say they were a little late putting the score on that scoreboard there. Reluctantly, the timekeepers not here tonight wanting to put that extra goal on, because the Dragons have given a good account of themselves in this second period and almost holding them out to a scoreless period. But the Tigers earning that extra point there by Bowley. It'd be interesting to see whether they can carry this momentum with only just under a minute remaining into that third period, Ben.
Shot in, straight down the throat to Jolly once more. And Jolly now finding form late in this game. So we're getting ourselves a face-off to the left-hand side of Jolly in the Dragon zone. 19:14 on the clock. And Lovell gets his stick on that and chooses to play to his defenseman. Dragons try and knock that out, given another opportunity. Bowley feeds Smith and it's intercepted by Lovell. Back and forth, but it's going to be Telford to come out in possession with Bowley. Takes it onside once more. Cleared out by the Dragons. 3-on-1, they've got an advantage. Finds Shaw, couldn't keep the pace up. Allow the Tigers back in. It's another washed out play from the Dragons. Parry recovers that puck, skates it in. Dying seconds of this period. Can they get something late? Lovell on the buzzer, gets his stick to it, but it goes wide.
I've started, so I'll finish. It's currently Dragons 0, Telford 5. We've had an exciting second period here, and the Dragons have restricted the Tigers down to 1 goal and shown glimpses of some promise of coming back into this game a little bit. But as it stands, we've got a lot to do in the third period. 5 goals to tie the game. But with that, all the players will go back into the dressing room and take a break. And with that, we'll take a break. Join us for the third period.
Unarmis Sportswear, sponsors of Drop the Puck.
Welcome back after that short break, and both teams return to the ice. You can see there in the centre Mr. Hands just awaiting to get the action going once more. Brown returns to his net. Jolly back in his. Whistle blows and we drop the puck. Wainwright. Great draw win for the Dragons as they start this third and very difficult period. It's going to be a long climb to get back in this game.
For the Dragons it will be. It'd be nice to see how they come out there in this period.
As we discussed in the introduction of the show, Dragons purely fighting for pride now at this late stage of the season. As Griffin gets the puck, takes a shot, it's deflected off the leg pads of a Dragon out in front for Smith. It's bobbled up and down, it's a nasty bounce. Dragons have been able to clear that out there though, using the boards. Keating tries to find Parsons opposite side. Priest puts it back onto the stick of Keating. And gets away from Chappell and allows the Tigers back in to clear that puck out. Wainwright beats Washburn to it. Once more, Dragons dispossessed, allowing Telford back on the puck for a wild pass. Means the Dragons are able to retreat with that as we go for a quick line change over B-side. As we were saying, Gary, Telford established themselves high in that playoff spot now, chasing the Wild.
Yeah, I think to be honest with you, results have gone in favour of the Wild so far, and I think it'd be pretty hard for the Wild to give up that top spot now with the remaining games they've got. It's all about Telford maintaining that second spot, but they've pretty much cemented the position in the playoffs, as I said earlier.
Playoffs at Planet Ice Widnes over the weekend of the 19th and 20th of April. Tickets are still available, but they are selling fast. Make sure you get down there. We'll be down there covering it with BASN. You can catch all the action on our YouTube channel. As back to the matter in hand as Gordon takes a shot again, bobbled down. Jolly dives on it, brings down one of the Tigers players in doing so. No malice though. Both teams just reuniting themselves with their equipment.
Yeah, just to correct you, Ben, it's 20th and 21st.
Oh, sorry, apologies. 20th and 21st.
Yeah. But yeah, as you quite rightly pointed out, tickets are going fast on that. So, you know, if there's any remaining, it would be worth going down a great weekend of ice hockey.
Draw win for the Dragons. And Austin is able to push that out the zone, but Tigers are back there to pick that up once more. Reed feeds that in. Austin in receipt for the Dragons. Great forecheck coming from Telford. Applying lots of pressure, trying to cause mistakes for the Dragons. And Reed beats out Austin's puck once more. And it's going to be Lovell. Uses Perks. Back to Lovell. Mark Lovell now being allowed to skate forward.
Oh, just a hip check into the boards there.
Spridging. It's going to be intercepted by Austin. Timing that pass, finds Humphreys, is brought down over two men. But it's allowed Tigers to go back the other way with Smith. Smith and Perks again gets it on the way.
Well saved.
Bowley denied by an absolute corker of a save there from Jolly.
Yeah, deflected the puck up and over.
Griffin, nope, knocks out offside. And that's going to put a stop to that Telford attack. Well, Gary, another great save there from Jolly, showing that he's definitely trying to keep this Dragon side in the game.
Yeah, if we can keep the deficit low, it gives the Dragons a chance of trying to get some goals on that board, but it's difficult. Oh, and looks like the officials hit the ice. Oh,
and he's not getting back up, unfortunately. Well, the on-ice medic crew attending to him at the moment. The Dragons trainer, and it appears to hit his knee. Well, both teams concerned, and it's brought this game abruptly to a stop.
well, while we have this show both teams being told to go back to their benches, and while that goes on, we'll have a quick look at those saves there. Jolly, just as you think the Dragons are starting to put some pressure on the Telford net, then as quickly as you like, Tigers get the puck, start skating, heading down towards that Dragons net, fires a shot in, and Jolly deflects it over. And it's going to need a lot more of that to stop this Tigers team putting the puck in the net tonight.
And just as you're talking there, Gary, Mr. Hands back to his feet, but being assisted off the ice. So this game now going to be officiated by two officials.
It's definitely a knee issue there.
We hope he recovers soon. As we can now see, Mr. Walker and Mr. Reese just conversing with Brown of the Tigers. And now both captains skate over. And we'll await a decision now. Game will continue.
So one official down.
It must be wherever we go, Gary.
Well, that's the thing, when you drop the puck, we always see an official hit the ice, but
even when we're at Elite League. Mr. Walker gets the action back underway. It's Price Tigers. Great pressure once more by the Dragons. Put forward. Keating skates onto that. Can he beat Price out? No. Griffin's going to be there for the return pass off the boards. Wainwright steals it out of his pocket though and drives it into the corner. Out in front, there was no Dragon there. And again, lucky bounce off the board. See the Dragons back in possession, but Priest takes matters into his own hands, finds Washburn. And now Washburn, great pass over the far side, allows Ryan Jones of the Dragons in though. Tries to use the boards to clear it. Intercepted once more by Telford. Chappell does well to recover that puck for the Dragons. And now D-side trying to string something together as Keating once again crosses the blue, lays that off for Parsons. Parsons fans on the shot and takes all the power out of it. And it's allowed. Tigers in once more. Great little move from Shaw, finds Parsons, takes a shot.
Oh, well covered up.
Straight down the throat of Brown. And you can see the Telford team straight in there to protect their netminder.
Yeah, it's Priest diving in there to stop Parsons putting any more pressure on Zach Brown. But it still remains here after just over 4 minutes in this third period here at the Den. It's Dragons 0, Tigers 5.
Face off in the Tiger zone to the left of Brown, sees another draw in for the Telford team, but it's Parry ties up behind the net. Dragons trying to get back in, player brought down, official's arm stays down. And now Super goes round his man, tried to find man opposite, but he's only giving it to Shaw. Shaw tries to shoot through the gap, followed up. Oh! Clancy, Shaw's paid for his trouble. It's
there! Oh no, it's been disallowed.
They've waved it off. Well,
Parry's not happy with that. Ask him why. But I think if you watch our replay, you see that the net is actually knocked off its moorings just as that puck gets fired in. And the goal has been disallowed.
Well, the Dragons able to find a chink in the Tigers' armour. But no sooner has the goal gone in, it's been rubbed off again. And Shaw skated back to the bench there. Seems to be carrying a little bit of a knock. We'll keep an eye on that. Once more, face off in the Tiger zone. Early shot in there from Clancy. And Anderton plays that out. There's going to be an icing call there. So, 5 minutes of this third and final period gone. And the Tigers absorbing this pressure that the Dragons are building. They're putting up a great fight, and surely it's got to come soon. A goal. We've had one rubbed out.
You just fancy them getting one, don't you? But Tigers are having a lot to say with this, with their great defence at the moment.
And again, the Dragons set up, looking for the tap in was Clancy. Cleared out by Anderton. He's found Super, Pex, and Super expected the hit. Does well to fight and try and get that puck out. But once more, Lovell and Super.
Nobody there for Super to lay it up to over there. It's gone. Anderson was there waiting for it.
And again, the technical ability of this Telford team shining through as they're able to roll off the Dragons players, create space. As Parry puts a body on Reed. Puck's already played though for Smith. Smith skates hard.
It's Jolly. Jolly's got that.
Oh, sorry, apologies. And again finds Humphreys, who knocks that on. Harrison tries to clear it over the halfway.
Oh,
taking him, Super.
Oh, he fans
on the shot.
No. He's missed a couple of shots like that tonight when he's fanned it.
Very much so. Normally, sniper-esque is Super, and puck there dragged across the face of the goal by Parry.
Yeah.
Couldn't get his backhand on it.
Looked a little bit too slow, that, didn't he?
And now Parsons taking out the play completely, and Harrison allowed in to turn this puck around as Jolly once more knocks it forward back to Harrison. Finds Thomason out in front of the Dragons bench. Bodies are flying in.
Smith is sitting there and
Thomason. Smith lays it for Gallagher. Great save.
Nice little layoff by Smith there for Gallagher.
And now the Dragons trying to clear it out. 7:19 gone in this third and final period. Well, Wainwright laid that off for a shot from Parry. And now Jones through traffic. It's off the leg pad to Brown and cleared straight out. James Smith of the Telford Tigers skating up, looking for support. He's a lone man. Gallagher comes in now, but it's too late. He's surrounded by white shirts. Puck still in the Dragon zone. Another shot in. And very much so trying to establish a screen in front of Dom Jolly there, but to no avail. Keaton knocks that puck on. And Telford just going to be back in receipt of that. Once more. Telford Tigers. Skate forward. Callum Griffin. Oh, it's back. Well, that flew across the face of goal there. No Tiger was able to get on it, and Parsons has been dispossessed down the other end. Keating uses the boards, looking for the quick play. There it is! In! James Shaw with the first goal of the night for the Dragons.
Well, lovely little layoff there. Keating's feeds the puck that Parsons lost. He manages to recover it, feeds it back to Parsons, who's up against the boards behind the byline, feeds it in to James Shaw, who's posted right in front of the net, and he slots it home past Zach Brown for the first goal tonight for the Dragons. It's now Dragons 1, Tigers 5.
Dare I say it, Gary, we knew it was coming.
Yeah, it's
great build-up play from the Dragons.
Shaw's been looking for that net all night.
As Dragons now with the bit between the teeth, back down again once more. Clancy goes to take the shot. It's off a leg pad of one of the Tigers players, still in possession. Shot in, it's in! Clancy with the goal! Well, they're rolling now.
Well, a nice little turnaround there by Clancy. Sees an open gap and just goes for it. And another puck flies past Zach Brown tonight for the second time this evening. A rare occasion. The Dragons now 2 and the Tigers 5. Ben, I could hardly take a breath there because no sooner we facing off again after that first goal and we're celebrating the second for the Dragons.
And definitely with the bit between the teeth, in full gear now with the Dragons. That's going to be an icing call. Well, you'd be excused for not being able to see the replay of the goal there, so we'll use it quickly now. Great little play from the byline there for that Shaw goal. And then we go again, and Clancy with the solo effort. As play once more gets back underway. Dragons win the face-off, puck all the way back down to Perks. Perks trying to find that cross-ice pass. Parry, Shaw and Clancy, the fruitful line so far tonight for the Dragons, as Griffin finds Jolly far side, pays the price with a big body on there from Shaw. And again Shaw sits his man down, causes an opening, exploited straight away by the Dragons. Take it in, Clancy, shut out there by a wall of Tiger shirts though, and now Parry into the corner.
Yeah, look, I've got to say it, Ben, I think they caught that sleeping Tiger.
Well, this hidden Dragons line certainly knows what they're doing. As Tigers trying to play it out. Lovell avoids the body on there. Anderson in possession now though for the Tigers. Tries to clear it out, only onto the stick of Jones. Centre ice and puts it straight back in. Great pressure now as the Dragons ramp up. Lovell fighting away to get that off Price. It's round the boards. Wainwright gets over. Clever little move from Super, gets round Wainwright. Super in, takes a shot. Jolly stands him up. Puck is up off his face mask and he denies Super for his third.
Well, Super there with the speed towards Jolly. The puck flies up and Jolly lost sight of it completely. It landed down in front of the net, but Jolly looking behind him for it.
So, 10:22 gone in this third. Over the halfway point, we're into the home stretch. And the Tigers certainly still in the running. Wainwright can't get to that. It's Jones in receipt once more. Callum Griffin. Great pass. Ooh! Once more, and it's caught a whole load of there by Smith, and he's put that out of play.
Well, it'll be interesting to see with the 10 minutes remaining whether the Dragons can claw back another couple of goals and make this really, really interesting. But it's a case of slowly catching monkey, isn't it?
As neutralised face-off. Sees Chappell come out with the puck. Looking for that pass. Finds it. Shot again. Oh. Deflected out. And now the Dragons certainly making sure the second to the puck. Creating opportunities. Parsons puts that puck back in. Wainwright does well to keep the play alive as they're trying to dig that out. Managed to.
It's almost like the Tigers defence is in a bit of shell shock.
Ooh, allows in Griffin. He's pinched his pockets and now Griffin in. Thinks about it. Across there.
Well, 4-on-1, and you'd have put money on the Tigers to score.
Back the other way with Parsons. Catch your breath. He goes in. Goes. Oh, it's in! James Parsons!
Oh my goodness. Well, James Parsons does what he does best. 1-on-1 there with the keeper and puts the puck across the keeper's front, slots into the far side of the net and brings the Dragons up by another goal. It's now Dragons 3, Tigers 5, and a timeout's been called by the Tigers by the look of it.
Well, you can see
they're shell-shocked, Ben.
Yeah, you can see the coach there at the bench shouting the commands now. What have you got to do now? You can see on the opposite side, Gary Shaw reading the riot act to the Dragons. He knows it's still within, within grabs here. You can see both teams are hungry for this. I think you're quite right though, Gary. The sucker punch goals from the Dragons have got the Telford Tigers reeling.
Yeah, it's rattled them. It certainly has rattled them a bit. The thing is though, they played a very patient game, the Dragons, and you've got to admit, like, this has made it really, really interesting now.
Well, I mentioned second period syndrome. Third period has crept in for the Tigers. And again, Shaw picks that puck up. It's getting physical out there. Lays it off for Parry. Parry, mix up, keeps in possession. Alex Parry. Brought down there. Hands stay down off the boards. And Telford go the other way. Anderton sealed out there by Austin. Ends up in the net for his trouble. And
well,
this Dragons team fighting for their life as we're inside 8 minutes now. Towards the end of this game, Perks feeds that round for Austin. And Dragons just looking to settle once more into this rhythm. Certainly upset the Tigers. It's going to be chased on. That's an icing call there.
Well, Bennett, the Dragons can find another goal in these remaining 8 minutes. Dare I say it? No.
No, I'll say it because it's my line. You're quite right though, Gary. If they can get this fourth comeback goal, overtime could be on the cards.
Could be, and it'll be the second game in succession for the Dragons.
But the key note to take out of all this is the amount of times that the Tigers have been taken to overtime this season. 5 times, they've only prevailed once. Yet the 2 times that the Dragons have gone to overtime, they've won.
Well, let's see if they can get there. They need another goal to make that a possibility.
As Priest forced to chase that back by Spridging. Tigers now looking to play clever and play that puck out.
Control the game, that's what they'll look to do now.
But they've let the Dragons in with a high pass. And again, the Dragons just trying to find that high man. Telford not getting caught out anymore. They've got those defenders sitting deep. Lovell uses Wainwright. Great pass to Ryan Jones. Jones feeds that forward to Spridging. Little poke check. And Wainwright forced to hold up as everyone gets onside. Takes the shot. Great leg pad save by Brown.
Brown looks like he's asking the defence, why are these shots coming in?
Wainwright once more. Takes the shot. Brown's down on it this time and stops the play.
Yeah, Lovell was just there waiting for the rebound, but got covered up by Zach Brown. And he's now starting to get a bit of pressure off the Dragons again, and it's looking interesting, Ben.
The Dragons getting under the skin of Zach Brown.
Well, if I was the Telford Tigers, I'd try and get control of this puck and slow this game down a little bit.
Before this period started, it was a 25-16 advantage in shot on goal to the Telford Tigers. There's a big collision there between Parsons and looks like it's Anderton.
Yeah.
Down the other way though, and the official's now seen it and caught blown for it. Parsons is back to his feet, but Anderton is still down.
Yeah, Parsons holding his hip a little bit, but Anderson's still down on the ice. I think he hurt his knee a bit.
And plenty of players in the wars tonight.
And yeah, looks like the Tigers having a quiet word with the official there to say, you know.
As are the Dragons with the other official. So Mr. Walker having his ear bent by the Telford Tigers, and opposite Mr. Rees also being spoken to. And there's going to be a penalty here. Josh Humphreys head in the box, and that's a misconduct. Well, we can see there Anderson being helped off the ice.
Well, Wainwright's talking to Mr. Rees there. Obviously, Mr. Rees telling him why the player's been sent off.
Well, misconduct penalty assessed to D-side is going to be a crucial penalty now. It could have been assessed to Parsons to the bench, I'm not too sure. But it's Humphreys who's sitting it.
And the face-off will be down at the Dragons' end.
Well, the Dragons have lost all momentum now. This could play into the hands of the Tigers.
With just over 6 minutes remaining.
As we get face-off, left with Jolly in the Dragon zone. And it is misconduct. Shot in!
Whoa!
Looking for the redirect there was Priest. Out against Washburn, puts it up high into the netting and out of play.
A little high, that shot, but it stops play with 14:09 in this third period gone. So a little over 5 minutes remaining. The Dragons desperate to try and claw another score back.
Face off once more, won by the Dragons. Wainwright gets a stick on that and closes it down. It's going to be jumped on there by Shaw. Shaw picks the puck up, rides and check, still trying to keep it in the corner. Tigers are able to come out with it though. Looking for Super, finding far side, 3-on-2 situation. Super, back to Priest in the middle once more, shadowed by Wainwright. Finds Washburn at the blue, it's off a Dragons defender, played into the corner. Once more out to Washburn as Telford try and get something set up. Super. Finds Washburn at the blue. Back to Super. Thinks about it, takes the shot.
It's in!
And Philip Super with the nail in the coffin.
Well, we know he can do them shots, Ben. He lined that up and like a sniper fires it straight to the back of the net past Dom Jolly and gives the Tigers the bit of a breathing room that they need in these final few minutes. It's now Dragons 3, Tigers 6. And of course that wipes out. Oh no, it doesn't wipe out that penalty, does it? Oh, Mr. Hans has returned.
So, Mr. Hans returned to the ice. Now, it's a 3-goal deficit. It's pure damage limitation now for the Dragons. Will they be able to do anything? We're going to get a face-off centre ice between Chappell and Super.
Well, of course, that was Super's hat-trick for tonight.
Pets tries to play that to Keating. Off the boards once more. Driven into the corner by the Dragons. There's going to be another call. And that's boarding. That's a boarding call assessed to the Dragons now.
On James Parsons.
Well, it seems like it's all falling apart for the Dragons.
Yeah. That's a shame, that, because for fleeting moments I thought we were going to have a game on our hands there. Now we find it. Dragons will be down a man. It's going to be 5-on-4.
Oh, it's holding call, sorry. Holding being assessed to Parsons. Austin shuts that pass lane off. Once more round. Shot in from Smith. Whoa. Great kick save from Jolly. As Telford again trying to get some rotation going. Another shot in.
And as fast as those pucks are flying in, there's always a Telford guy flying in right after it.
Smith finds Price. Price thinks about it. Goes back to Smith. Can't control it. Good cycling of the puck. Price takes a shot. And Dragons do enough to clear it out. We're inside the final 5 minutes now. Super once more. Forced wide off the puck, and Lovell decides to skate behind his own net and use the boards. Tries to clear it out. Washburn can't get there. Parry. Playing the forward check as we're in final minute of that penalty. 50 seconds remain now. Price drops that off for Smith once more. Chappell all over his man.
And Smith looking for his hat-trick as well, eh?
Smith's lost his stick.
And he's happy to just hold that puck there.
And blown the play dead as losing sight of the puck there. So 33 seconds show on the clock. The power play advantage. Anderson returns to his bench.
From the locker room, yeah.
Much to the cheer of the travelling support of the Telford Tigers fans. And we look to get a face-off to the left of Jolly in the Dragon zone. Kicked backwards there by Chappell. It's going to be Shaw chasing that down. Gordon's there first. Finds Harrison. Once more. Harrison looks, takes a shot. Blocker save from Jolly. 15 seconds remain. Gordon takes a shot. Puck's put back in once more. Cleared out by the Dragons in the final 5 seconds. 2, 1. Back to full strength. Shaw with the puck. Tries to find Parsons. Gordon jumps up in the air, brings that down. Shaw's recovered it though. And Telford turning back around the other way. There's an arm up of an official. And that looks to be a slashing call. So, Connor Gordon going to the box for a slash on one of the Dragons players.
Yeah, I think it was on Shaw as he was trying to get across, chasing that puck. Nice play, but James Parsons coming back onto the ice, held himself up as that puck crossed the line, give Shaw a chance to recover it.
Face off. Won by the Dragons as they find themselves on the power play once more tonight. Tried to clear it out the zone to Telford, but kept in. And this time, Telford gets a stick on it and clear it out the zone. Super once more. Great poke check there from Austin. But he's been able to find Smith, who puts that in. Looking for the redirect from Super.
Has casually done that as well.
And Clancy just leaves the puck behind. Final 2 minutes now of the game. Clancy lays that off for Parsons. Tries to go in, it's gone through the crowd in the slot and come out onto a Telford stick. And the Tigers just going to dump that down onto Jolly's net.
Nice idea, nice manoeuvre, no product from the end of it.
Wayne right now. Skates it onside. Leaves it for Parry, who takes the shot. Oh! Looking for the tip in. Was Chappell. Austin with those sniper shots again from the blue. And Chappell's done well to control the rebound.
Oh, he lost it.
Stolen off him. Fed to Jolly. Jolly's breaking forward. Austin puts his body on. Washburn's come out with that. Chappell's back there to receive it. 35 seconds now remain on the Dragons' power play. And Washburn uses the boards out in front of the Dragons' bench. Forces them backwards. Dragons looking for a late goal as we're into a minute left. 13 seconds in fact now on this power play. And the Dragons cycling this puck round. As we said, it was damage limitation after that 6th goal went in. Shot in!
Oh!
Shaw couldn't redirect it. Dragons are back to full, Tigers back to full strength. So it's a power play opportunity wasted by the Dragons once more as they look to find Jolly straight away. Turn back for Shaw. Shaw skates it in. Goes backhand, puts it across the paint, and there's nobody there for him. Out in front once more. It's only fallen to the Tigers. We're into the final 15 seconds now of this game.
It's getting exciting again.
And Jones puts it into the corner as we're going to run the clock out here. Well, there's 2-1. There's your buzzer there. It was convincing victory by Telford.
Well, that was an interesting game to say the least, because Tigers looked like they were going to run away with it in that first period. Second period, the Dragons held them off to 1 goal. Lucky it was only the one. And then in that third period, Dragons certainly came back into it with 3 goals of their own. But the Tigers put the nail in the coffin with that 6th and final goal. And the Tigers come away tonight with the victory here at the Den. Dragons 3, Tigers 6. And the players shake hands in a well-fought battle, Ben, I would say, between 2 good teams.
Very much so. We thought that the Dragons would come in with a pinch of form after that overtime win against the Senators.
And they showed glimpses of it, I thought, at times.
Very much so. But the Tigers proving why they're established at the 2nd position currently in the Laidler.
Yeah, I think they killed the game off in that first period, Ben, and they came and done what they needed to do. And it was basically, as you said, damage limitations and trying to recover something from the game. But with that, I think the players and coaches are going to be heading back to the locker rooms, and we'll go down there in a moment to get some news and views from all of them. But in the meantime, we're going to take a short break. Join us after this quick commercial.
Dunamis Sportswear, sponsors of Drop the Puck.
And with Telford Tigers player coach Callum Bowley. Callum, bit of convincing win there tonight.
Yeah, it was a good win. We came out hard. I think at the end of the first it was 4-0. Quite pleased with that from the boys. We said get pucks deep in, transition up ice with speed, and we did that. So yeah, really good start for us. Really pleased.
Now, you've obviously got ex-Dragons player Philip Super icing for yourself. Was Philip's knowledge of the Dragons used at any point in this game plan?
I won't say it was used. I think he brings a lot of experience to our team. He's a good defensive threat in this league, a very good forward, puts up a lot of numbers, and he makes a huge difference to our second line. But it's not just him. There's a lot of guys in that room that bring a lot of experience. So yeah, he's a good addition for us.
Now, so far, Telford had a really good season. Sat 2nd in the Laidler, chasing the Wild. Even managed to turn them over at their own barn the other week. What's got to be done now to keep the momentum going?
I think we've just got to continue what we're doing. We're playing a good style of hockey right now. We're simplifying some of the stuff out on the ice, which I think is the main thing. We can't overcomplicate things. And I say week in, week out, it's about momentum, taking that into the playoffs. If we can continue our run, then we can go there and win it. I want the guys to build off last year, use that experience from last year, and hopefully we can go there and go one step further this time round.
So obviously, at the way it's set at the moment, bound to appear at Widnes over that playoff weekend. Who are you fancying in the draw?
To be honest, I'm not really fussed. I think all the top 4 teams at the moment can win games. So we just want to look after what we can look after, which is winning games. If we go there and we're on a high, then so be it. I ain't too fussed. We'll turn up on the day. We'll do the business and look after what we can look after.
Now that 4th spot yet to be cemented by either the Senators or the Bulldogs. It's still in contention. It's pretty much been a bit of a mixed league this season. How have you found it out there?
It's been very interesting. I know we've struggled against the likes of Coventry. We've had a lot of success against Bradford. We've had a lot of success against Widnes. We've dropped points where I didn't think we should have dropped points, but you look around the league, everybody's beating everybody, and it makes it quite interesting for the supporters, also the players. For coaches like myself, it makes it a bit of a headache, but I think it's an interesting league this year. It's been quite good. Well,
Callum, hopefully we'll be able to catch up with you at Widnes over that weekend, and good luck for the future.
Thank you very much.
And with captain of the Dragons, James Parsons. James, a hard-fought result there tonight, disappointing, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, it's disappointing, but you've got to take the positives from the second and third period out of it. You know, they're a good side, and I felt like, especially the second and third, we competed. We've got to take that away from it.
Certainly, Tigers came with the game plan quite clear. They executed that within the first period. Different so from the Dragons in that second period. What was said in the locker room?
Well, Gary gave us a bit of a rollicking in the after the first period. We didn't get any goals in the second, but I felt like we got plenty of chances, and we had a bit of momentum going into the third, and that's where I felt we played really well.
So, quite rightly there, the Dragons, again, a different team that showed up in that third period. Momentum possibly from the Senators game, just late to appear?
Yeah, definitely. I think the first period, Telford are a good side, and we let them play, and that's why we went in 4-0 down. So, got to learn from that for next week. So,
well, quite rightly, you got the Senators again at their barn this time. What is going to need to be done by the Dragons now to keep the Senators on the back foot and upset?
Yeah, well, we played them last week and just played hard against them. So same again, really. It's different on their ice. It's an early face-off, so we've got to get ready for the game a bit differently. But hopefully another win for us.
And a key attribute tonight to take away for the Dragons was the fact that discipline was really well maintained. Those penalty minutes kept down. Is this something that once again is being reiterated through the team?
Well, we've had a few this year, haven't we? But it's just the way it's gone for us. I think we had a fair few tonight as well. So it's just what it is, But we get on with it, and tonight we played well. So.
Well, next time we catch up with you, James, will be that faithful derby game against Widnes Wild here at the Den. Eyes have got to turn to that. Do you fancy that one?
Yeah, obviously it's always good against Widnes, isn't it? So.
Excellent. Well, we hope to catch you then soon, and good luck.
Thank you.
Well, that was a game and a half. In my books, like James said, there's a lot of positives that come out of that for the Dragons.
As a neutral to watch that was an outstanding game of hockey, because the Dragons showed fight and showed heart, and he says it was a rollicking. We'll never know to this day what Gary Shaw said in that locker room.
Well, I've got a rough idea.
Exactly, but it did the job, and he got the heads back in it, and then suddenly we thought we were going in for a goalless second period, and then that fight back in the third. I'm quite amazed.
Well, the first period was the damage, I think. The game was over after that first period for the Dragons. 4-0 down. Telford, it's 2 apiece for Super and Smith, and a fantastic play by them. They just shut everything down that the Dragons were trying to do. They picked all the avenues. They had all the technical plays put together. They just looked like a well-disciplined and drilled team.
Well, that was it. It played into Telford's advantage because it was a very quick first period as well. There was, you had the 4 goals, but there was only 3 penalties on the board. So everyone, had men on the ice. I think what it came down to is Telford set a game plan out. They knew what they wanted to do and how to execute it, and they went about doing that.
Well, you said there about almost having a scoreless second period, and I honestly thought that was going to be the case, but unfortunately, Telford managed to fire one in and get that extra goal they needed to take it to 5-0 at the end of the second period. But the Dragons showed a lot more promise in that one.
They did, Bowley got that goal for them. But I think it was a case of, at the time, the Dragons were banging on the door, and if they'd have snuck one in at that point, I think the game would have come out completely different.
Who knows, but you say that. They did eventually score. Dragons came out very well in the third period. They actually won that period 3-1. So, what was the difference, do you think, Ben? Because when that first goal went in for the Dragons, it looked like it was rocked the Telford Tigers.
If I'm completely honest, and I think I mentioned him at the start of the show, James Shaw, that kid put his heart on the line tonight and skated his backside off, chasing down every puck, putting his body everywhere, and he came out and set a benchmark quite early on that third period. Obviously it paid dividends for him, he was able to put the puck in the back of the net. But what you found with that is that got the motion going, and suddenly it awoke the sleeping giant that had been the Dragons. Telford, I think you mentioned it in the commentary again there, they were rocked by that, they weren't expecting that. And to think, this is the future of the Dragons coming through now. James Shaw, Charlie Spridgeon, Billy Perks, all excellent shifts tonight.
Well, interestingly enough, after that first goal from Shaw, Clancy managed to get another quick second one, and then when Parsons put that third one in, and I said it in the commentary, I honestly thought one more goal from the Dragons and we've got overtime on our hands. But Telford quickly came back, Super got his hat-trick, put the game to bed, and it was good night Vienna for the Dragons.
Yeah, I think Bowley summed it up in his interview. Super, yeah, he's an ex-Dragon, he knew what to do, but it's experience he brings, and it's not just him as well. You've got young lads like Brandon Anderton on there as well, Callum Griffin. They've all played the Dragons many times before. As you always say at the start of the show, two teams that know each other very well.
I didn't say it this time, Ben.
But they do. You're quite right. They do know each other well. But I think this is the shining point now. Tigers have been able to be more flexible and adapt to this new league where everyone's pinching points off each other. The Dragons are late to the dance, and they're finding it hard to adapt. They're just waiting for that spark, and they'll all click again.
Well, we said it at the start of the show. Telford have pretty much cemented their playoff spot after tonight, and the results against Blackburn Hawks 2 previously as well. They've got to start wondering, are they going to have to step their game up a little bit, because if they're going to perform like that in the playoffs, they could get caught short again like they did last year.
You say that, yet you look at the head-to-head versus Widnes, and they turned Widnes over in their own barn. That's where the playoffs are going to be held, so we know the Tigers can step up there. The Jets sitting in third at the moment, that's always a great battle to watch, Tigers versus Jets, and I can't wait for that one, to be fair. It's that fourth place, that wild card spot, if you want to call it that at the moment, and we call it that because obviously Sheffield are banging on the door, and perched on the edge of the cliff there are Bradford, waiting to essentially lose it for themselves, or, and this is the scary part now, the teams around them where they've got no control on what happens.
Well, we've said it in previous shows, the likes of the Altrincham Aces, the likes of the Dragons, the likes of Coventry Blaze, all going to have a big say in how this finishes. Of course, there's still one outstanding result that earlier in the season where the game got called between the Senators and the Jets. Likely it's going to go towards in favour of the Jets, but that'll be damaging for the Senators, I think.
Yeah, that'll put that little dint. It would then mean that the Senators would have to win every single remaining game to jump into that fourth spot.
It's going to be a tough one, but you can catch the playoffs here on Drop the Puck, because we're going to be there at Widnes, Planet Ice Widnes, covering each of the semi-finals and the finals. And don't forget, you can catch me here, like I've already said, and lots of other games. Well, it's been a great night here at Deeside. We've enjoyed the action. We hope you have, because we've been Drop the Puck.
Dunarmus Sportswear, sponsors of Drop the Puck.